citizen voice is in the recyclery in some unknown neighborhood, and we're in here with a few hundred people getting ready for the program, and ran into Hunter Lovins, and I'll let her introduce herself and tell us why she's here.
I am Hunter Lovins, president of Natural Capitalism Solutions. We work with companies, communities, countries on ways to implement more regenerative practices profitably. They asked me to come and speak about regenerative agriculture and its role in taking carbon out of the air, putting it back into the soil, which is where it belongs.
And we've learned from our work in trying to slow the burning of fossil fuels that science tells us this is not enough to get us back to a stable, healthy climate. Any comments on the viability of being able to draw down carbon using nature as the pull?
The science is coming in looking very, very good. We can sequester an enormous amount of carbon in the soil. We can do this in ways that are more profitable, and it is not enough, and traditional mitigation is not enough. We need them both. We need a cap on carbon. We need a price on carbon. We need the ability for the companies that are now the problem to be making more money by becoming the solution. We can fight them, and we will lose. We haven't enough time. This button says Kyoto, COP3, I was there. We've known this all along, and we are not getting it done. What we can do is begin to implement renewable energy, energy efficiency, regenerative agriculture, all of these programs in our communities. When we do, we have higher jobs. I was just with Jerry Brown, Gregor Robertson, the mayor of Oakland, the governor of Washington. They are building up the West Coast, this innovation collaborative of states, cities, counties that are doing this. Why? Because it cuts their costs. It increases their jobs. It gives their people higher quality of life. It drives their innovation. We need all of these solutions, and we need them now. And when we enable businesses to make more money this way, put a price on carbon, the low carbon solutions win. They're winning already, and they will win fast enough that we just might save humanity and save life as we know it on this planet. And that's our job.
And that's the good news from COP21. What impact can a citizen that is concerned but doesn't know what to do, what's the message that you have for people that want to get more involved?
Do one thing. What's your dot? Pick one. Don't try to do it all at once. Just pick one thing. My favorite right now is, where is your money? Do you know what your money's doing? Are you invested in the fossil industries? If you hold mutual funds, the answer is yes. And you don't have to be. There are a growing number of truly fossil fuel-free funds. I help advise one called Principium, principium.co. That's one of many. Green Alpha is another. You're getting these truly fossil fuel-free funds introduced almost on a daily basis. So that's one thing you can do. How do you move around? I debated the frackers in Denver, and they had put a guy up against me who was really good, and he got the last word, and he said, look, you want our product, we're going to drill it, and you're going to buy it. Next morning, my husband, who was out shoeing a horse, it was starting to rain, and he called me, he said, hey, do you want to go drive a Nissan Leaf? I said, yeah, I do. We drove it, and I asked the guy, I said, can I really drive this? Because I'd been driving a Porsche. He said, sure. Hit that throttle, boom. Yeah. That sucker will go. So we bought it. I have since smoked a Porsche, a Mercedes, a BMW, and a Mustang, and a big old pickup truck off the line. because electrics have torque. When we were filling out the paperwork, salesman said, "Oh, you don't need this paper." I said, "What's that?" He said, "It's the emissions report." He said, "You don't need this book." I said, "What's that?" He said, "It's the maintenance book." I said, how do I maintain this?" He said, "Rotate the tires." It's a better product. Here in France, I take the metro everywhere. We ought to have decent transit in our communities. What are you doing with your house? When I bought the little log house I live in now, first thing I did was call in a gal to do a blower door test and see where it was leaking a lot, and a gal with a caulk gun. And then I put a 5 kilowatt solar system on it, oversized so that when I bought a leaf, I could run the leaf off the solar system. And these are things that you can. I was talking to a friend of mine in Buffalo, New York last week. He said, "I'm putting solar on." I said, "Oh, good." He said, "Yeah, I priced it out, 5 cents a kilowatt hour. And when I pay off the system, it's free." Average price that most Americans pay for electricity is 11 cents a kilowatt hour. So there are hundreds of things that you can do. Where do you buy your food? Is it grown locally? Are you buying grass beef or Iowa corn-fed beef? The corn-fed beef's not good for you. It's destroying the soil. That's what we're here to talk about tonight. Grass beef grown locally is taking carbon out of the air and putting it back into the soil. If we increase, the world's grasslands are the second largest carbon sink after the oceans. The oceans are saturating. Increase soil carbon by 2%, we'll soak up all the anthropogenic carbon, all the human emitted carbon. So solutions, we have them. Let's just start implementing them.
Thank you so much.
You're very
That's
welcome.
awesome. Citizen Voice signing off from the Recyclery with Hunter Lovins.